Just overall, you're completely irrelevant in every single way. People make a tier list saying brain dead, haven't seen enough, lost brain cells, and then their caption is, please don't take me seriously, please don't abuse me in the comments. It won't happen. Idea gets raised every time, but never see any progression. Same as the VFL connection, no progression. He's a straight up saying that.
Then yeah, you look like a fucking horse's ass.
This is just a way to suck sort of the higher tier players off without looking like you're sucking them off.
Oh, why are you calling everyone brain dead? You know, either they're casually playing or they haven't played enough.
I just think you need to be more humble. The lads have come from the sewers to play some quality football. You sort of shower with your dads at 3:45 p.m. It's a bit very informal podcast of the club's chat, ex Aegean housewives, whatever you want to call it. It's just me and Mezzy today. So Mezzy, hello, how are we?
Hello, madman. I am very well.
Good to have you back, man, after that very controversial AVPL preview podcast. It's already got people talking.
It was good fun. Honestly, I loved being a part of it. And now it's weird to kind of look back on it, you know, what was it, 2 weeks ago? And now it's just, what the fuck?
Definitely a lot of things that have happened that have not been predicted or expected, to say the least.
It's interesting. I mean, I'm from FFA and we're down the bottom end of the table, and we've also got Azuri under us. So
I literally just looked at that. You guys are sort of down there, yet above Azuri. But anyway, that's not sort of what we're here for today. That should be a separate video, hopefully. Aegean's sort of the drama hub of pro clubs, and I love it. I love the drama that goes on and the 200 comments of absolute hate, and it's just brilliant. I was thinking, if I'm one of these guys who loves the drama and the controversy, surely there's a lot more people that love it. So might as well bring a little podcast to shed some light on the more prevalent issues that's happening around about now. No one's safe, and we're going to be calling out some individual people, some individual topics, and we're actually going to start straight away. Gigi Nesta, he had announced a few couple things. First of all, I'll just read from it. Rivals team of the month and Rivals finals, top four teams, will start again this month, so January. Fair enough. Then we move on to AVPL. Division 2 winner badges only will be awarded to the club's homepage rather than individual badges. That will encourage teams to stick around and build established clubs that can hopefully move up to Div 1. Interesting. Very fair enough. And then we move on to the really interesting potential future competitions, where he'd go on to say, Aegean Pro Clubs Champions League, consisting of the best teams in our region. Aegean Pro League, the best foot players in Australia going head-to-head. Aegean Fantasy League, a salary cap pro clubs league similar to VFL. And that's what I wanted to talk about. That Aegean, maybe we'll move on to the Div 2 later, but I did want to discuss first and foremost the Aegean Fantasy League, the salary cap. I know everyone, when they heard it, the first thing was like, how the fuck are we going to do this? Obviously, it's going to be too difficult for the admins to go through every single person and give them an individual value or market value. So it was more leaning towards how well you're doing in Rivals or Team of the Week or whatever. But then that would bring up, obviously, issues like if you're one of the best keepers for years and you're having a shit month, where does that put you? Like, everyone's still going to buy you, if you will. Obviously, that's brought up things. What's your go with the salary cap? How do we think we should go about it, if you will? Or maybe not, just rather, do you think it's a good idea?
See, I think it's actually a really good idea. I've taken part in something similar when I first kind of got into clubs, back when I was like, oh, is there any pro clubs in Australia? So I went to like fucking England and Portugal leagues, waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Oh.
But you know, I got into VFL myself, and I seen a little bit of that, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. But it's one of those things that's always gonna start trouble because, as you've mentioned, if you're playing inconsistent, but you're already known in the community as being half decent, you know, you're gonna be able to be bought at a lower value, which then leaves a higher value for like some other higher tier players.
Yeah.
Then it's also in the fact that you can wrongly value some people, and people are going to pull the dummy and, just have a fucking hissy fit over, oh, I should be valued 25 million and not
Yeah.
50 million. You know what I mean? And it's hard because then it's kind of also the admin's being biased as well. I don't know. It's hard. It's one of those things that it sounds really good when you think about it, and then to put it into specifics, it's like they're going to need a team of 12, 14, 16 admins to kind of work together and put it together. It also brings up the point that, you're going to be playing with new players as well. Like, I think that's the issue that some of these other players have, is the fact that you've got the same groups of players continuously playing together, your AVPL clubs, but, there's never kind of a split other than draft. So
Mm.
I think if they can implement it and they can do it in a way that's not going to piss everyone off, I think it could work really well.
There's going to be initial teething problems with it, but I think it's something that would be really welcome in the community, and I really like it personally. I think if they can implement it and somewhat get it right, it doesn't have to be perfect, but get the basics right, get the salary aspect of it pretty well, and get a good comp going. Where everyone, they're excited to, yeah, we want to upgrade our market value and we want to be better, and in a way that'll it'll have a knock-on effect to rivals. People will be more incentivized to, yeah, we want to do well in rivals to get our market value up. And I really like that whole aspect. And there will be teething problems, but it's a promising idea. But then again, it leads to my next thing, which the whole thread, I think it had over 40 comments, 50 comments, and it was about people talking about it's fucking bullshit, and we talk this shit for years and nothing ever happens. Straight away, Dizza saying it won't happen. Idea gets raised every time, but never see any progression. Same as the VFL connection, no progression. Dizza straight up saying that. Vela hitting back at him straight away. Be more negative, Dizza. Mate, I can tell you it's being worked on. Feel free to volunteer time to help getting it up and running. And then Sam Carney backing up Vela saying, I take it you're up for coding, Dizza. Dizza obviously going on to say, not negative, just a realist. And then him saying, nah, I'm all good, Sam Carney, thank you, I'll pass. Obviously, Dizza got banned, I think, which is funny in itself. Where do you think it will happen, Mezzy? Because there's always been, I've been around Oz FIFA and EGN, and I have, the most respect for admins and the work they do, but there's no buts. It's just more so we would, I think I'm speaking on behalf of the EGN community, like to see more tournaments, more incentives to jump on rivals and grind every night. Do you think it will happen?
I want it to happen personally, and I can back your point that you've now said. I really would like to go ahead and see it brought in because it will incentivize more people to get on the game, and more tournaments is always great because there's not really any motivation to get on rivals. If I'm being honest, as much as I like rivals, it's you get on and you play your 40 games and you're maxed out and that's that. And what next? Like, other than that, you've got AVPL, and then if you play the FUT Cups, that's in there too. But yeah, no, I think there should be more Pro Clubs tournaments brought in, and I feel like if they can bring those comps in, the ones that they've mentioned, I think that the community is going to really welcome it. But it's just going to be one of those things that they have been asking for it for a long time, and the admins have been like, yeah, we are working on it, and it never comes of anything. I feel like it's one of those things that it will take a long time to put together.
But I do see the side of Dizza, and I think Aguante too was saying, yeah, it's all talk, and I'll believe it when I see it. Sorry, I can get that side because there has been talk in the past, and they haven't lived up to their promises, is what I'm trying to say, or their word. And it's no dig to the admins, but I think it's justified that people are a bit hesitant and resistant to get excited because it's like, yeah, it's just going to be another idea to get us, excited, but nothing's going to happen. But
realistically, it's just like FIFA, isn't it? Every year you get excited that something's going to change, and then you buy the game, and it's FIFA 21's FIFA 20.1. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's shit. I get it 100%. It's just if they can live up to that promise, then definitely there's a lot of excitement coming. But if it's going to be one of those things that, well, I've not been in the community all that long, but yeah, if it's been one of those things that they talk about it, and then they don't deliver, that it's, what's the point of getting excited in the first place?
It's how can the admins, how can they better get the trust of the community and the players to say, yeah, you know what, we're going to deliver. Obviously, Gigi Nesta came out and said, if you know me, you know I'm a man of my words and this is going to happen. He said that in a comment, and I trust that because obviously we talked about it. I've worked with Nesta for a long time, and it's a guy that you can trust that he will deliver. Alongside the admins, they have a much bigger admin team now. Besides me working with Nesta for a long time, how can they better get the trust of the community? And that's something that I wanted to bring up a point where I think the admin team could do better with just regular communication. For example, if they were to do a weekly post regarding the updates that they're working on, the things that they're looking into, just once a week, just to discuss and inform the community of what's happening behind the scenes of EGN. And even if it's something a bit more than a comment on a thread saying we're going to do this and that, I would like to see weekly, once a week. It doesn't have to be that much, but even if it's a video or a recording of Vala or Carney or Nesta or the whole admin team discussing and talking to the community and directly addressing feedback, directly addressing rumors, and talking about where they're looking to improve. And, like we said, Rivals is not there's not that much incentive. Everyone, we were on the podcast and people are saying Rivals is shit, Rivals is this, Rivals is that. It could be improved. And if they could obviously just do a direct communication to people, I think it will get a lot more people on their side and trusting them. I think that's something they could improve on, like you said.
100%.
And then we move on to the tier lists. In particular, I wanted to brief upon Speedy. He made a fullback tier list, and good for him, in my opinion. It's his opinion, obviously. He can do whatever he wants, regardless of which club he's at or the player he is. He's absolutely entitled to his opinion. However, we've had some controversy already. Just to start, I did want to go over the comments of his post straight away. So quickly, it was really Aguante who had the first poke. Obviously, Aguante saying, I'll read it out to you. I've seen Speedy play. Shouldn't be calling anyone brain dead, to be honest. In fact, Odin the Third killed it in the draft and overtook Speedy's spot for left back. Obviously, Speedy put a player called Odin the Third in brain dead, and we'll get to the whole brain dead thing a bit later. But Speedy replies, I didn't call Odin brain dead. The players in the column aren't in order. And if Odin killed it in the draft, I'm just wondering why I started the semi-final over him.
Ooh.
And then we go back to Aguante. There was a whole sort of this and that. And then Aguante goes on to say, I'm not offended, mate. I just think you need to be more humble. Odin was unavailable for the semis. That's why you played. So obviously giving a bit of dig there. Speedy going off again, saying, yikes, sorry for having an opinion. And then it was just sort of back and forth. I just literally straight up, who's in the right here? Obviously, Speedy is defending his opinion. He's allowed to call anyone he wants brain dead. He's allowed to do any tier he wants. But then again, Aguante saying, look, mate, you're obviously not the pinnacle of EGN. You're not the top right back or left back. You're not the top defender, sorry. So you should be more humble in calling other people things. Well, what sort of just say, Mezzy? What's the go?
Look.
Who's in the right here?
Opinions are like assholes and everyone's got one. At the end of the day, it's one of those things that if you're not in the top 4 or top 8 teams and you're calling other people brain dead, it's always going to start fireworks.
Yeah.
It has for Speedy here. It's hard to say because I haven't seen Odin play. I don't know what type of player he is. I have seen Speedy play. I know that he's a young up and coming fullback. However, it is quite interesting to see him call other people brain dead,
Yeah.
when he's only been on the site for such a short time as well. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, it's more like I'm gonna get to a lot more points with the tier list, but it's just I think it sort of narrows down to number one, are you entitled to have an opinion no matter how, unhumble or humble? Or should you be more respectful, especially when obviously you're not up there with, the badges wise, the elite players, or you are more up and coming. Where do we sit here?
You know
Who's
what? Now that I think about it, I think I side with Speedy. When we
oh
when we first introduced the tier lists, when Toxic from the Generals brought it for season 16, I remember I done my tier list for goalkeepers, and
yeah.
that started some fireworks. I rated Cammy lower than their second choice goalkeeper, and I rated myself higher than.
Oh, I remember that.
It was
Yes.
very, very controversial, and a lot of Generals players didn't like me that season.
Hmm.
I went back to look at it, and it's funny to look back now and kind of go, okay, well, did I prove them wrong? Did I prove myself right?
Yeah.
I mean, Speedy kind of wants to get his name known, and sometimes starting up some fireworks is the best way to get your name known.
In a way, you sort of not resemble, but there's a bit of similarity between maybe back then yourself and Speedy. Obviously, when you were more up and coming too, making a tier list that obviously was going to spark some controversy. Is that sort of why you side with him a bit more over Guante?
Yeah, I think that's the way. I think it's definitely you want to see those players succeed, but here's the thing: now him starting up this brain dead tier, he's now setting up himself up for a lot more kind of pressure to live up to for AVPL because now if Odin plays better than Speedy and like Titan, he's from Titan, isn't he? Odin.
Uh, Sorry, I should have done my homework.
No,
I'm
that's
pretty
okay.
sure, but
So
yeah.
from whichever team, I'm sorry, Odin, whichever team Odin's from, if they do better than Speedy's team, which I believe he plays for Retribution as well, I should have done my homework before we done this. If Odin's team's going to play better than Speedy's team, at the end of the day, it's going to look bad on Speedy at the end of the season. However, if Speedy can kind of live up to his potential and prove that he was right, who's to say that he was in the wrong?
Yeah, just to top it off, I will this topic. I will just read again. Speedy saying to Guante, "Yikes! Sorry for having an opinion. See how it says haven't seen enough. I don't think I was calling anyone in specific brain dead." And then Guante says back to him, "Speedy, you can just say haven't seen enough. You put brain dead in there anyways." No excuses, but this is just a way to suck sort of the higher tier players off without looking like you're sucking them off. So yeah, I think it's an interesting one. But then again, moving on to the next topic, it sort of reflects and resembles where I'm going to move on, and that's the brain dead tier. Obviously, I knew myself bringing our tier list again. Yeah, maybe not goalkeepers, but definitely. Definitely, the fullbacks and the defenders, they're going to cop the brain dead stuff again. And there's been quite a lot. Who was the first person to start the brain dead? I think you commented on it. I'm not too sure if you can remember.
Bambi from memory. I think Bambi was the
Bambi.
person to mention it when you brought out the centre back tier
Yeah,
list.
I think you're correct. Congratulations, Bambi, by the way. Well done.
It was weird because the goalkeeper tier lists had come out and everyone was being super nice to each other, and it was haven't
Yeah.
seen you play enough, and obviously there was decent, good, great, so on and so forth. And then now you see the centre backs and fullbacks, and everyone's digging in now. It's kind of before we move on, like you look at Speedy, and as much as I side with him, it's hard because he's put the same tier for brain dead and haven't seen enough played. So it's how can you? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you can judge that. And I see Aguante's point from the fact that it's like, you've kind of not only said that you haven't seen them play enough, you've now called them brain dead as well. So
I think, yeah, I've seen also after the comments were locked, there's still been a bit of digging. So lovely stuff from EGN. But yeah, moving on to the brain dead sector. Like I was saying, as I'd introduced the tier list, I knew we were going to cop it. Obviously, everyone was so humble to the goalkeepers. It went from, good, not too bad, up and coming. And then it went to the centre backs where we'd get no brain cells, brain dead, fucking idiots, sort of just those tiers. What is your opinion on brain dead?
Uh,
Should we have it or not? Literally, it just narrows down to that. Because I will. The thing is, we've sort of maybe a year or so ago, there was a little discussion about brain dead too. Obviously, people taking it a bit personally, but then people were saying, "Look, this whole site's just fucking banter and a bit of laughs. Don't take it seriously." Where do we sit?
it's funny because when the tier lists first came out, when they were first introduced a few months back, when I think Fletch was the person who kind of made it a thing. I don't know if anyone else had brought the brain dead tier before he did, but once Fletch came in and started making the tiers himself, that's when you started seeing that pop up.
I think after that video that person released, I don't even know who released it. The whole Twitch streamers. I'm not
that
sure.
was comedy, man.
That was brilliant, by the way. Absolutely brilliant. But I think, from that, brain dead from Fletch. Sorry, I think that was it. But yeah, from that, maybe it started. I'm not too sure. I'm guessing here, but
it's comedy because I remember when they did the TVT lists as again last season. I think I was in one or two people's brain dead tiers. There's arguments around it. So there's the two sides of the argument. There's the why are you calling everyone brain dead? They either they're casually playing or they haven't played enough. And then there's the other argument where it's they haven't no, don't take it personally. How about you use it to fuel yourself and improve? And I suppose that's what I did myself. But I see a lot more people kind of taking it to heart. At the end of the day, it's all fucking banter, man. And at the end of the day, if people are just gonna try and start drama and keep holding on to it, then who the fuck cares? Like, we gotta forget about this shit eventually.
But I did allude to it when I first made the tier list. I did say, if you're put in this sort of lower tier, where it gets a bit iffy, look, just take it as motivation to, if you do want to go well in this side, take this shit as motivation to step up and prove the cunt who called you brain dead wrong, basically. But I know not everyone. Obviously, you took it. You're a perfect example. You took it well, I think. Obviously, people did call you brain dead, and now look where you are. Obviously,
I laughed at it, man. Honestly, I kept looking at the ones that I was put in, and I was just like, "Well, all right, it's time to prove to people that I'm maybe not brain dead. I don't know. Am I brain dead? That's not for me to say."
Exactly right.
At the end of the day, it's a good laugh to go out and see some of these cunts just come out of the shadows and just randomly start, poking the bear and kind of going brain dead, brain dead, brain dead.
The thing that makes me laugh the most is when people make a tier list saying brain dead, haven't seen enough, lost brain cells, and then their caption is, "Please don't take me seriously. Please don't abuse me in the comments." It's a bit of an oxymoron. Like, you're obviously poking the bear, but then again, you're saying, "Please don't fucking give me shit for giving everyone else shit." That's what makes me laugh.
People just want to jump on the bandwagon, You see people say like posting the brain dead section, and everyone kind of goes, "Oh, that's the thing to fucking jump into." So then that person makes a brain dead tier, then the next person, and the next person, and everyone just wants to jump on board. But then the moment that someone kind of goes, "Oh, you shouldn't have called that person brain dead," that's when they go, "Oh no, but like I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it." And
Double standards.
It's 100%.
And then we move on to the opposite spectrum, if you will, from going from brain dead to the top tier. I wanted to really talk about this because I found this interesting. People putting themselves as the highest tier or the GOAT tier. I know I've had maybe a talk or two with some people about it just to laugh. For me personally, and I know I like to stay away from the controversy, but if you're putting yourself as top tier, number one, it's not up to you to decide if you're the greatest of all time of all time, or if you're elite, or if you're this or that. That's not up to you to decide. It's up to everyone else on the side, whether they see you as the best or brilliant or class or shit. It's up to, them. If you're doing a tier list and you include yourself at the top, it's like I think I joked about it. I said, if you're putting yourself at the top, it's not the best look, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of it. But then again, I have seen people saying, look, if you have got the badges, if you have got the ability, and you are in form at the minute, then there's no reason why you shouldn't back yourself and put yourself top. And that's sort of, I'm thinking, yeah, maybe you're right. But then again, maybe you should be a bit more humble and just let other people decide, not put yourself as one tier list or two tier list or 10 tier list higher than someone else and say, yeah, I'm the best. It's for me a bit, but sort of, what's your take?
It's case to case, really. I suppose when you say how you said it before, where it's if you're in form and you're playing well and you've got the badges to back yourself, then sure, yeah, I guess you can go ahead and maybe say that you are like in that top tier. But I just feel as though if you're making your own top tier and you're by yourself, that's where the ego starts to come out, and that's where you really kind of start to look, I don't know, like a fucking horse's ass. That's just my opinion. But, we're pulling the gloves off. We're getting our hands dirty here, aren't we, Matt?
So basically, narrowing it down, are you a fan of it? Sort of, how do you feel about putting yourself as the top tier, even if it's with other people or without, or not even the top tier, but sort of second top? Or it's like, should people just leave themselves out or call themselves brain dead, or should they have, should they feel free to back themselves?
I would probably say if they're not putting themselves in the top tier, then I guess that's okay.
Okay.
Because, I feel like, yeah, if you put yourself by yourself at the top, then yeah, you look like a fucking horse's ass. But I suppose even if you put yourself there with a couple others, then yeah, you don't really look great either. But if you put yourself a couple tiers down, then I suppose it's acceptable. I love the ones where they put themselves at the bottom and they'll go like brain dead themselves.
Yeah,
that's good. But like, I suppose, yeah, you probably should be acting kind of humble, maybe. I don't know.
I know people that have put themselves sort of up the top or near it, and they've been able to live up to that throughout the next rivals or AVPL. They've clearly shown they're up there with the best.
If you can prove it, then there's no reason why you should.
But then I know people who have put themselves near the top or up the top and have severely flunked. And it's like, now you just look a bit rightfully wrong, and it doesn't look the best for you. Obviously, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of it. Put yourself brain dead, leave yourself out, let the other people decide, in my opinion. But then again, like I said, some other person's bringing up points that, you should be able to back yourself and be confident. So there's a lot of perspectives, but yeah, I can see sort of where people are coming from on the other side. But yeah, I'm not a fan of it like yourself, Mezzy.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose you can back yourself. That's always going to be the way. But yeah, I think if you're putting yourself in that top tier and it's kind of you just there by yourself, or if you're just there with a couple others, then yeah, it kind of does make you look bad if you can't prove it. If you can prove it, then by all means do it.
And then moving on, we did want to discuss Div 2. I did want to discuss it. Obviously, winner badges, as opposed to being individual, they're more focused. Sorry, they are focused on just teams. So if you win it, only your team's getting it. You're not going to get shit. Is that I think they're trying to focus or reshift the thinking towards Div 2, like towards it's more casual, and it should be a lot of a laugh, and it shouldn't be serious at all. And if you want to get serious, get your ass to Div 1, where you can earn your own badges and sort of make a name for yourself. Is that the right way to go? Should they have kept badges? I know Aguante was against that in the threads. A lot of people against the changes to Div 2, being as there's so many teams in it. Where is your perspective towards Div 2 and what they've done?
I've got like multiple points on this, honestly, because I've got a fair few people that I know in Div 2, and they're all kind of talking to me, and they all want me to bring out content for Div 2 as well.
Yeah,
It,
I'm exactly this. I think I got a message. Sorry for bringing up your name, but Big Cosso, he'd messaged me saying, "Can you interview and do a podcast with Div Two, this, that?" And my point to him was, if I'm doing podcasts for Div Two, doesn't that incentivize or disincentivize, sorry, people from moving from Div Two to Div One? If
yeah,
you're putting all this attention and focus on Div Two, but yeah, as you were, Mazzy.
that's all good. Yeah, but just I've been messaged by multiple people on EGN, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it might be. They're all like, oh, there's the different points of will you do, as I've mentioned on the club's chat, I'm going to be doing like the plays of the weeks, like the goals and saves and all that. They go, can you include Div 2? It goes,
Yeah,
oh, are you going to be kind of competing against 11v11 compared to 8v8? It makes it hard to, switch the two and kind of go, oh, is that kind of delegitimizing the Div 1 players and kind of going, oh, your goals and saves aren't as good as,
yeah, it's equal value with
yeah,
someone who's
you know what
fucking
I
around
mean?
in Div Two.
It's hard. But then I've also got points being that, yeah, as I said, like I just done a team of the week post. But that was more the admins. They kind of just messaged me asking if they want me to do a write up. And I was more than happy to do that.
Yeah,
Someone messaged me saying, can you do a team of the week for Div 2? And I go, well, first off, there's nothing on EGN about it. I didn't create it myself. That's something the admins have done. And I've simply just wrote something up. It's not much that I've actually done. Just
yeah,
posterized it and kind of gone, oh, here's this. So for someone who's messaged me going, oh, but like, can you do a team of the week for Div 2? I said, why don't you do it? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I'm not in that division.
exactly. Well, and then on top of that, I don't know from the top of my head, how many teams is there in Div 2? There's
23, 23.
23. There are 23 teams in Div 2. And not only that, there are more players in Div 2 than there are in Div 1. So
Yeah,
that
exactly.
means I'm devoting my time to 400 plus players. And I'm not going to obviously include every single individual player, but like if I'm to dedicate my time, that means I'm dedicating my time to 400 different players. It makes it
Yeah,
very hard. Um, but then there's also the argument that you will see in that post that you said at the very start about Div 2 players not having their individual badges on their pro.
yeah. Their profiles. Yeah,
Now the badges are going to be on the teams rather than obviously the individuals, which is a good idea. I really like that because it gives you more incentive to stay with your club and actually build your club up.
hmm
And some people start to look at your club and go, oh, that's that club, and they're actually doing really well.
yeah. I was talking to the only Saiyan or Saiyan, whatever you want to call him, just today. He's obviously in Sicarios United in Div 2, and he literally just told me, yeah, we're just having a mad laugh and we're enjoying our time and we just want to take it casual. And I think that's the perspective that the admins are trying to put towards Div 2. If you want to play there, you're not doing it for badges, you're not doing it for accolades, you're doing it to have a laugh and enjoy yourself, as opposed to sweating and making a name for yourself. And I think by them shifting badges away from individual profiles and onto team badges, by which will make people go, yeah, you know what, our team's got a badge now. Maybe we can move up and compete and get a bit more serious. I really like that idea.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, I know there's been a lot of controversy, but I have to side with the admins on that side. I think they've done a good job. And I think Div 2, in all honesty, is at a brilliant place. It's just because it's at such a good place, Div 1 is at a bad place at the minute with only 13 teams. But that, again, is a whole different topic and discussion.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, and it's something we could talk about for hours, legit.
Last point, a bit more of a shift away from everything and just straight onto, in my opinion, the greatest team on the side, the Sewer Rats. I wanted to talk about them because they're brilliant, and I'm trying to find the thread here. Here we go. Bombo, brilliant, legend of the EGN community. Him saying, "This is who we are, OG," and leaking a match thread where he beat Ozone 3-1,
Ooh,
out of nothing. Just this is who we are, OG, and giving him absolute shit for it. And I want to go through the comments. It was a laugh, in my opinion. Call it what you want. It's drama. It's this. It's that. It's like Bombo saying, sorry, OG commented straight up. Happy to rematch if you'd like. We can stream. Bombo going on to deny, saying we don't have our players, this, that. And then OG saying, let me know when you become relevant. Bombo saying, oh, relevant on EGN. That must mean a lot to you. OG saying straight back to him, never mention EGN, just overall. You're completely irrelevant in every single way and the meaning of the word. And then they got a bit heated. OG saying you could sweat for the next decade and you still wouldn't be relevant purely because of half-witted posts like this. Brycey saying you went to Div 2 to build chem, but we both know you went to Div 2 to dodge a repeat of last season where they'd get smacked, basically. Bombo saying, Brycey, you're hopeless. I pocket you. Then OG going, I think my team and I will just leave you alone to ramble to yourself over a rivals game. Blah, blah, blah. Chumbisca, honestly, the nicest guy on EGN, saying, who the fuck is this guy, Bombo?
I love viewers.
Brilliant. Sorry, I might have to like that right now. Absolutely brilliant. Just a whole bunch of shit. Where should Bombo be stirring the pot and poking the bear and being a dickhead, or is it justified? Is it a bit of fun? Where are we sitting on this one?
Mate, they were former affiliates of El Diablo, for those who don't know.
Sorry, Desi too. They're also making a movie, apparently. Literally, Bombo's name is the second best to ever do it. Sewer Rats going onto their profile now. The lads have come from the sewers to play some quality football. You have Sewer Rats, the movie coming soon. Yeah, well, they're obviously they're a club and individuals that make me fucking laugh, and I love it. But obviously, they have stirred some shit and made some people angry. What's the perspective?
I fucking love those guys. Honestly, they're comedy, man, and it's good to kind of have that bit of banter as well. And I love Ogie's response to it. He's always compared to how he was back in the day. You know how we know Ogie fucking grr. But yeah, he's super humble about it, and he's kind of like, oh, it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's just, for them poking the bear, and at the end of the day, they're having a laugh. And there's a few people who, might not kind of interact with the thread itself, but they're probably reading and having a laugh too. I'm all for it, honestly. I love that little bit of banter. And it's not really hurtful in a way, I guess. At the end of the day, they're going to have a bit of a laugh with it, and then they're going to laugh with it. And that's kind of that, really.
Yeah, it's one that I like the Bombo's perspective and the whole Sewer Rats affiliation and movie trailer and the best to have ever done. I love all that, but I don't blame OG for absolutely destroying Bombo and giving him shit. The thing is, I can see both sides to it, and I've enjoyed. That was a funny thread, and I love that.
That was. I
do feel bad for OG a bit. He'd been roasted by Bombo, and then Grimes gave him shit straight after. And yeah, OG obviously then beat Azuri in AVPL, so I think he's got the last laugh in my opinion.
Exactly. I mean, that's where it is to go ahead and improve. We don't know what's going on with Azuri, and we'd like to go ahead and we'd like to see what's going to happen for week 2 in AVPL.
Yeah, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I'm not sure if you'd seen it. I might even link it because an anonymous person had sent me it. I'm saying it straight up. I did not make this.
I've seen it.
I don't know who made it. I'm getting names saying this person said it or this person made it. But all I know is someone sent it to me.
I'm not saying any names.
And I think it is poking the bear while they're down. I do think Azuri is still going to come up and challenge for top 3, top 2. They're only a couple wins away, but at the moment, that video, I might link it. And obviously, it's poking the bear a bit. Have you seen it?
I've seen that and I was like laughing for a good 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's where we go back to the last time obviously we spoke and we done the season 17 prediction that you put out, and it was kind of comedy, and I know obviously we're going to link it here. A lot of people are going to go ahead and they're going to see that and they're going to get a bit of a laugh out of that too.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that should be taken seriously. I think it's something that comes with if you're saying and being confident, like we alluded to before, but you don't back it up. I think everyone has the right to maybe banter you a little bit for doing this or doing that. I think that's justified and it comes with it. But it's all in good faith and good laugh. And I don't think Azuri is going to be down for too long. They obviously have. Everyone was predicting them for Golden Boot, Golden Glove, first winners. You know, there's still a quality team in there, and they're going to bounce back straight up. But anyway, Mezzy, that should wrap it up for the sort of the Real Housewives of EGN, the clubs chat. You know, both of them linking as one, and you know, bringing the EGN community this podcast to sort of deliver the latest and greatest drama news. I think that sort of wraps it up until, I reckon, maybe give it a week or two, and we'll have about 5 more brain dead, 200 common threads, and we'll have drama with the admins, and yeah, it'll be straight back to it when we do another one, maybe in a week or two.
We'll see what happens as far as you bringing out the midfielders in the attack. We'll go ahead and see who's brain dead and who's elite.
Yeah, I'm dreading bringing that out because that's where the big shit starts to spark. And two, just quickly, so everyone's saying fullbacks. Straight up, I'm going to get controversial here. There's people. I've obviously made a fullback tier list, and I've seen about half people saying attackers. And it's given me the shits because straight up, most of the time it's all eyes on Kano and Creature, and then you have some other ones I've forgotten. But it's like if I'm in Las Razaz and I've seen my own players being playing wing back for the past couple of months, why are you saying they're attacking? And just straight up, Tyson, Jordi Brio, FIFA fraud. I'm not sure if I've gotten you boys wrong, and if I have, I apologize. But yeah, this whole attacking thing it's fucking pissed me off. I'm thinking, what have I fucked up around here? But yeah, I do apologize if I got anyone's position wrong. But anyway, yeah, thanks for the podcast, mate. I'll see you next time.
We will see you next time.
Catch ya. Bye-bye.